Hello and welcome back. The first light of the morning has a rhythm of its own. The house is still, the garden is just beginning to wake up, and for a little while, everything feels slower, softer, and wonderfully peaceful. These are the moments I treasure the most before the day gently unfolds into everything that's waiting ahead. I always try to begin my mornings like this, not by rushing into my to do list, but by giving myself a few moments to simply pause. The first thing I usually do is open the blinds, let the fresh morning air fill the house, and light an incense cone. Somehow, these little rituals make the whole home feel refreshed, almost as if it's waking up along with me. The gentle fragrance drifting through the house instantly creates a sense of calm and reminds me to slow down before the day begins. No matter how busy the day ahead looks, I always try to begin it with something warm to drink and a few peaceful moments to myself. Some mornings I spend this time doing a little yoga. On other days, I practice a few simple breathing exercises. And honestly, there are mornings when I don't do anything at all. I simply sit here in silence, listening to the birds outside, watching the morning light slowly fill the room, and allowing myself to ease into the day instead of rushing through it.
What if the world had more of your smile? What if the wind could spread?
Since it's the school holidays, the mornings are a little more relaxed than usual. Today I started the day with one of my favorite little morning rituals, a short walk around the garden, just checking on my plants.
Trees will whisper words.
And just look at this beautiful dahlia. I honestly don't remember buying this variety. I was expecting a plain white one, but nature had other plans. It's little surprises like these that remind me how beautiful gardening can be. While I'm here, I also trimmed away the dried flowers. It keeps the plant looking tidy, and in the case of dahlias, it encourages more blooms throughout the season. We have had quite a warm summer here this year, which isn't very common. Usually, nature takes care of most of the watering. Lately, the grass has already started drying up. So, today I watered the plants early in the morning before the sun gets too strong.
There's no one who has a heart
As the morning light slowly fills the kitchen, it's time to get breakfast started. I had kept my dosa batter to ferment overnight in the instant pot, so breakfast today is going to be simple, crispy masala dosa.
There's a new day that will come again tomorrow.
One thing I've learned over years is that I don't enjoy rushing straight into cooking the moment I wake up. That's why I like to give myself that little buffer in the morning to wake up slowly, and it honestly makes such a difference to the rest of the day. I usually finish my kitchen chores by around half 8 or 9 in the morning. So, waking up early in the morning gives me these precious quiet moments before the day gets busy.
Darling, you've got to keep.
While the morning tea is brewing, I get a few small kitchen jobs out of the way, unloading the dishwasher, taking out whatever I will need from the fridge, or sometimes I simply plan for lunch and dinner. Nothing complicated, just enough prep to make cooking feel easier later on.
Up the fight, if only just for a bit.
Next, before getting into full work mode, I like to take a few minutes to plan the day ahead. I switch on my little water fountain, The gentle sound of flowing water has such a calming effect on me. Some days I will light a candle, and other days I'll put on some soft spiritual music in the background. These little rituals help me slow down, clear my mind, and start the day feeling more grounded. They really work for me, but that doesn't mean they have to be part of your routine. Just do whatever brings you peace and helps you start your day with a calm mind. Once the quiet of the morning fades, it's time to step into the homemaking mode. Breakfast is on the stove, lunch is already taking shape, and little by little the house begins to come alive. This is exactly why I love waking up a little earlier. Those extra moments of stillness give me the space to move through the morning with intention rather than urgency. Whether it's breakfast, lunch, the school run, or getting everyone out of the door on time, starting the day calmly makes even the busiest mornings feel a little lighter.
This is a good day as any to start the rebuilding life. The roads that lay open are many when the old one's gone under the night. And I can
While washing the rice today, I remembered that some of you have asked how I use the rice water for my indoor plants. It's actually very simple. Whenever I'm making rice, I soak it a little ahead of time. And instead of discarding the soaked water, I collect it in my watering can. Rice water contains small amount of starch and minerals that can help nourish the soil and support healthy plant growth. And one thing I have also noticed over time is that rice water never really develops a smell, which is such a big plus. Unlike water from soaking pulses or legumes, which can sometimes start to smell quite strong, especially in the winter months when the windows are closed. Since most of the vegetables were prepared, breakfast and lunch came together effortlessly. And this is exactly why I enjoy meal prepping so much. Not because it saves hours, but because it saves me from feeling rushed during the busiest part of the day. And while I'm in the kitchen, I also try to keep a box of chopped fruit ready in the fridge. It makes an easy midday meal snack, and if I'm being honest, it also reminds me to eat more fruits. And before I wrapped up the kitchen today, I squeezed in one little self care ritual and thought of sharing with you all. Thanks to all the summer outings, gardening, and camping trips, I have picked up quite a bit of tan over the last few weeks. So, once in every few days, I make this simple homemade face pack using ingredients that are already in my kitchen. It has roasted turmeric, simply dry roast turmeric powder till it turns brown, and to it I add some potato juice, 2 tablespoons of rice flour, coffee, honey, and curd. I find it really refreshing, and with regular use, it helps brighten and exfoliate the skin and gradually reduce the appearance of tan, all without anything too complicated. In an Indian kitchen, even the simplest meal usually involves quite a bit of chopping, cooking, and of course, some cleaning too. So, next is time for a final kitchen reset. And instead of leaving everything for later, I like to finish it all in one go. Load the dishwasher, empty the sink, wipe down the countertops, and leave the kitchen clean before moving on to the next part of my day. Having breakfast made, lunch prepared, and the kitchen reset gives me the freedom to focus on the rest of the day without the mental load of it's lunchtime already or what to cook for lunch hanging over me. And while the robot vacuum takes care of sweeping and mopping, I apply the face pack, left it on for about 10 or 15 minutes, and then gently scrub it off while washing, and then taking shower and getting ready for the day. Even though I'm home and spend most of my time filming inside the house, I still like to get dressed and ready just as I would if I was heading out to work. It's a small habit, but it creates a clear shift in my mind from morning homemaking to work mode. And I have noticed that when I make that effort to get dressed up, I feel much more focused, motivated, and productive. Somehow, getting ready reminds me that just because I am home doesn't mean I shouldn't show up for my day with the same intention. If you have been watching my videos for a while, you have probably seen this part of my day many times before. Once the morning chores are done, I slowly shift into what I like to call my creative hours. Depending on the day, it might mean filming a new video, editing one I have already shot, or simply planning ideas for the week ahead. But before that, I always like to spend a few minutes putting the house back together. Not because it has to look perfect, but because I truly enjoy creating a space that feels calm, fresh, and lived in. If I notice a chocolate stain on the sofa, I will wipe it straight away. If a cushion is out of place, I will fluff it before walking away. Those little 1 minute tasks never get the chance to turn into a long to do list later. I don't see these as chores anymore. For me, they're simply little acts of caring for the home we have created. Some days that means changing the flowers on the dining table, rearranging a corner, watering my plants, or giving them a little extra care. Other days it might just be refreshing the cushions or adding a small seasonal touch. These aren't things that need to be done every day, but they are the little moments that genuinely bring me joy and make our home feel warm and welcoming.
I remember 29 beats per minute from my heart. Anywhere we go is where I.
Since it's the school holidays, I like to keep some little homemade treats ready. Today, I was planning to make these refreshing coconut water popsicles. They're incredibly simple, naturally hydrating, and perfect for summer. All I'm using is fresh coconut water and some soaked chia seeds. I usually soak about 2 tablespoons of chia seeds beforehand, but you can always adjust the quantity to your liking. And if you prefer them a little sweeter, you can add a sweetener of your choice. You could also throw in a few slices of strawberries, blueberries, or any seasonal fruit. They taste wonderful too.
But are we at the end? Are we?
I'm keeping mine nice and simple today. Just pour the mixture into popsicle molds and freeze for a few hours until they are set. Whatever is left, I simply pour it in the glass for myself, enjoy it while carrying on the rest of the work. It's refreshing, nourishing, and exactly what I need on a warm summer afternoon. If you're enjoying this homemaking video so far, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It will mean a lot. The next thing on my homemaking planner today was spending a little time with the Tulsi plant. Quite a few of you have asked me over the past few months how I care for it, so I thought I would share a little bit of my routine while I was working on it. Since it's summer here, it's perfect time to repot plants if they have outgrown their pots or to give them a little boost with some plant food. I usually feed the Tulsi plants only twice a year, and the plant food I'm using today is something I picked up from Amazon India, and usually I add any plant-based compost to the Tulsi plant. One thing I always do with the plant is remove these flowers or manjari. While they are beautiful, they also take up a lot of plant's energy. Trimming them encourages the plant to become fuller and healthier. And if you look closely at the darker flower heads, you will find tiny black seeds inside. I always save these because they are what I use to grow my next batch of Tulsi plants in spring. Meanwhile, it was starting to rain, so I had to gather everything and bring the whole setup back inside. This particular Tulsi plant I actually grew it from seed as well. I usually start germinating them around mid March once the weather begins to warm up here in Ireland. This plant has now been with me for almost 2 years, and seeing how beautifully it's grown has been so rewarding. The smaller Tulsi plants beside it are this year's babies. They're still growing, and I'm hoping they will become strong enough to make it through the winter. And apart from that, my regular plant care includes spraying a mixture of few drops of neem oil and slightly warm water. I truly believe any plant teaches us one of the life's simplest lessons. They don't need constant attention, just a little care, consistency, and patience. And somehow they always give back so much more than what we expect. Back in the kitchen, I finally got around to organizing these new glass jars that I picked up on my last IKEA trip. I already use similar ones for storing rice and atta, so I thought I will continue the same look for the rest of the flowers as well. As there is something so satisfying about opening a pantry where everything feels organized, uniform, and easy to find. And little by little, I'm trying to switch over to glass jars for my pantry storage. It's definitely not something that will happen overnight and will take a while to replace all the jars, but that's okay. To me, homemaking has always been about progress rather than perfection. Making small intentional changes over time and enjoying the journey of creating a home that feels right. Let me know if you agree.
Hey, darling, can I tell you what's been on my mind?
One hobby I have been really enjoying lately is baking my own bread. I'm still learning, so I'm definitely not an expert, but it's something I have genuinely fallen in love with over the last few months. I thought I would share the recipe with you. Today I am making a simple homemade whole wheat and ragi bread. I love adding little ragi to it because it gives the bread a lovely flavor while making it just a bit more wholesome. To begin with, I took 140 ml of warm water and added 40 ml of warm milk, 1.5 big tablespoons of sugar, and 7 grams of active dry yeast. I gave everything a good mix before adding 100 grams of whole wheat flour and 30 grams of ragi to make a thicker starter. Once everything was well combined, I let it to rest until the yeast was fully activated and the mixture has doubled in size. And as I had already had all my baking tools out, I thought I would make another favorite treat in our house, this easy eggless banana bread. Some of you asked me for this recipe in my previous videos, so today seemed like the perfect time to share it. For this, I'm using 2 large ripe bananas, half a cup of melted butter, half a cup of brown sugar, and a tablespoon of vanilla extract. And since I'm making it eggless today, I have added around a quarter cup of yogurt instead of eggs. Once all the wet ingredients are nicely combined, I added 1 cup of homemade oat flour along with half a cup of whole wheat flour, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, and a tablespoon of cinnamon powder. I also like adding about a quarter cup of powdered nuts for a little extra nutrition. It's completely optional and you can easily replace it with chopped walnuts or simply skip it. Once the batter is ready, I grease the baking container, dust it lightly with flour, pour in the batter, sprinkle some chocolate chips on top, and bake it at 180 degrees Celsius for about 20 to 25 minutes.
Yeah, the countryside is so pretty with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday, baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it cute.
By this time, the starter had become beautifully active and almost double in size. Exactly what we are looking for. Now I will add about 1 tablespoon of olive oil, the remaining whole wheat flour, which is around 100 grams, half a tablespoon of salt, and around a quarter cup of flaxseed powder, which is completely optional but adds a nice nutritional boost. Next, I added half a tablespoon of lemon juice. It doesn't make the bread taste lemony at all. It simply helps strengthen the gluten, improves the texture, and give the loaf a slightly better rise. And finally, I added some mixed seeds because I absolutely love that extra crunch they add. If you're kneading by hand, knead the dough for about 8 to 10 minutes. I usually use the stand mixer with the dough hook, which takes about 5 to 6 minutes. The dough should feel soft, smooth, and slightly tacky to touch, not dry or stiff, but it should still come away clean from the sides of the bowl. Then I'll cover it with a damp cotton cloth and leave it to proof until it has doubled in size.
Easy on our tiptoes.
And while the bread dough is proofing, the banana bread is ready. Soft, moist, made without maida, and it's one of my son's absolute favorites. It makes such a lovely breakfast, a lunchbox treat, or a healthy evening snack with a cup of tea. The dough has now doubled beautifully and feels light, airy, and much more elastic. I gently shape it into a loaf and place it in the baking mold. Then I simply brush the top with little milk mixed with a pinch of sugar. It gives the loaf a lovely golden brown crust once baked. Finally, I finish it with another sprinkle of mixed seeds and leave it for its second proof until it becomes nice and puffy. Later, it goes into a preheated oven at 180 degrees Celsius for about 20 to 25 minutes. And this is the best part, a freshly baked whole wheat and ragi loaf with a crisp crust, a soft interior, and most incredible aroma filling the house. And that's it for today's productive day at home. I hope this vlog gave you a little inspiration to slow down, enjoy the little moments, and find joy in the everyday rhythm of homemaking. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with me. If you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Till then, take care, bye bye, happy homemaking.